Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Flip the Script, SCRIP without the T. And I'm back, Dr. J here, Joey with my good buddy Cameron, and we're going to let's talk the gym. It's been a minute, right? And I get confused with this gym pop, which I thought was this new, I don't know, swag name that's out for the gym now. But it's not GYM, it's Generation, GEN. General population.
Right.
All right, of the gym people.
Gen pop.
So let's break it down a little bit for them today. We might get a little deep, but, because I was telling you that earlier, 50-something years in the gym now. To say the very least, man, I've seen a few things come and go. I remember when people were on those little bouncing balls, working out on those for a while.
Yeah. As a kid, I always wondered what they were doing. I still don't know.
I think after all the injuries down the line, they finally gave that up, right? And, of course, now you got the CrossFit with people swinging on the pull-up bars and a lot of overhead stuff. Mm-hmm. I find over the years, though, it kind of comes back down to those simple lifts. It's to get the maximum result, I think, out of the quickest period of time is going back to the basics, the squat, the bench press, which eventually you're going to have some shoulder injuries with that move, but early on.
Yeah, okay. I don't do bar. I do dumbbell bench, not barbell. That way I can let my shoulders move how they.
Yep. Yeah, alter your elbows and whatnot because that's sort of the key. And then you have your deadlift, right?
There's a lady at 24. I don't know if you've seen her. She's, oh my gosh.
Oh, I have.
Has to be in her 80s.
Yes, and pulling those deads. Yes, I know.
She ain't going light.
I told her so, too. No, she's not.
She ain't going light.
She's got to be 70. I've talked to her. She's 70,
yeah, she's
70,
not.
73, something
yeah,
like
she's
that.
like in her 70s.
But still.
I mean, that, I can't even comprehend. I mean, that's wild.
But you know what's beautiful about that? She's there. She's in there and doing that.
And what's awesome is that, at the storage facility, I have a tenant, and she, I think, said she just turned 84. And, she can barely really move around. And so her daughter had to help her clean out her unit, or her two daughters or whatever. Mm-hmm. And like that lady that's deadlifting, she will have no problem moving around because she continues to use her body and load it.
Not to mention a lot less likely to fall as well.
Yeah.
But she's out there doing it. And so many people, excuse of not having enough time. That's why, I say, find yourself something you enjoy doing, do it often. It doesn't have to be that long. That's a key. I have the videos that are on my website, www.drjoeyjones.com. They're kind of rough cut ones where I show 30-minute workouts, all body parts, focus on primarily on injury prevention, especially over 50, right?
Yeah, I've watched those.
Staying in the gym. The key thing there is like being able to train next week. That's what I keep saying. Now, I've got an updated version, very nicely done, that I'm waiting on your dad to come around and edit for me. But I've got it on stash, and when I do, I'll let everybody know, and I'll release those. But the thing that I've learned over the years, and by the way, I did the math on that. Remember I was telling you the other day, what was it? Over 50 years, I calculated this, averaging
10,000?
10,450 trips to the gym.
Yeah. Turning that into hours, though.
Yeah, well,
because it used to work out for an hour and a half, and now you work out for, say, 30 minutes. So let's just call it an average of an hour.
Back in college days, you were in there 2 hours, right? Because, back then, I remember because we trained heavy. Mm-hmm. I was the light guy. I was about 200 pounds, and I was pulling 550 on deadlifts and 450 on squats, and I was the light guy. So that was the guys I was training with, and we had about 6 or 8 guys in college there together. We would in the gym, but usually leg day would be 3 or 4 of us, and rotate. The next time might be another 3 or 4, and the bar just went up. It never really went down. So I probably would have never pulled that kind of weight and pushed that kind of weight if I wasn't training with these guys. But it was fun. But you certainly weren't in the gym in 30 minutes lifting like that. So that's the thing you have to change over time.
Yeah.
And that's what I found, dude. I mean, there's, different routines. As you get older, I like to say less is more. Now, you're mid-20s, right? So for you,
I can still go in there and go at it.
Yes.
For a while.
Myself, I have to, like I said, I have to tone it back and take the ego out of it now, right? Because I want to train so that I can train again next week. So where I used to train chest twice a week back in my 20s and even in my 30s, that's sort of when I found out in my 30s. I was in Memphis at the time, and my routine was on Mondays and Thursdays chest. And on Mondays, it was not uncommon for me to be able to do 315 for 5 reps on my bench day. Come Thursday, 275 felt like that 315 by the time I got to it, right? Mm-hmm. So that's when I said, okay, wait a minute, I'm not recuperating. I had to tell myself, bring it down to 1 time a week. That's for the longevity, and that's one thing I think that the older people need to learn. And a lot of guys who over 50 who have trained with me, they feel like they need to do a few extra sets sometimes when we train that 30-minute workout. And they usually wind up with a tendonitis here or tendonitis there because, again, less is more is the word I like to use.
Well, I like to tell them also is you don't have to look at the gym based on, unless you're just like a creature of habit and you know you need to look at it on a 7-day-a-week schedule. But I tell a lot of people, because a lot of, Chris Bumstead, the classic Mr. Olympia and all that, his was over like 12 days or 10 days or 14 days. And that way, he could say, okay, this grows on me like this. And, makes it more complicated and harder for like new, people that just started in the gym. But I don't like to, I never look at mine based off just a week. You know what I mean? If I'm feeling good and I'm able to hit all my muscle groups and nothing's injured or whatever, I may do.
With how your body, listening to the body.
Yeah, listening to your body's the main thing. Like I have this torn labrum, and until I get that repaired, I don't really hit chest. Or maybe I go and hit 2 sets of chest every other week. It's like really nothing.
You find some way to work around it.
Just work around it.
You don't want to work through it, especially with those tendons and that tendonitis, because sometimes you get in the gym, you do a couple of light sets, and that elbow that's really been bothering you for the whole week, you get in there, though, you get a little heat in there, and you think, okay, hey, it feels all right. So you go ahead and do that full tricep workout,
once it cools down.
Yes, sir. And then it's the same, only wetter.
Yeah.
As we say.
Yeah. Yes. Actually.
And that's the thing too. I mean, we didn't really concentrate so much back then. We were just trying to put on the size and pound of muscle. Didn't pay as much attention to minerals as we should. And you and I have talked about that with that Ligaplex 2, that Standard Process
I take
has
that a
out.
good bit. I take that a good bit.
That's heavy in the manganese and the other minerals, and it's also got bone support as well. We didn't really look into that. I mean, again, we were thinking green leafies. Well, in college, there wasn't a lot of green leafies being eaten, people. And even today, there's not a lot of green leafies. But that's where your mineral content is. And that's why I said, too, where did all these knee and hip replacements, where were they at 40, 50 years ago? I don't remember. My dad, my uncle, they didn't go through the... Now, everybody knows somebody who's had a hip or a knee replaced. I've got a couple buddies that are right around my age, hips already, knees already. It's just, and I personally contribute that to lack of nutrition. I mean, we were eating better back then, and the connective tissue, I think, was fed the nutrients that it needed, and because I don't think there was any greater wear and tear on the average Joe today that there was back then.
Much more wear and tear back then, I would say. Everyone was blue collar.
That's right. Good
now
point.
you have
Everybody
office,
was blue collar, climbing steps, climbing
and
ladders.
I think that goes to like keep object in motion, stays in motion, like keep it moving. Like a lot of times, somebody so my buddy I play soccer with, that's a chiropractor out in Springville. He's 40, and there's like an over 30 soccer league, and there's an over 40 league, and then there's just our league, and he's. I don't know if he's the oldest person in our league, but he may be. And you look at him, he's not big, doesn't have a lot of muscle, he's not tall, but no one can knock him off the ball. There'll be somebody several inches taller and 40 pounds heavier, but they can't knock him off the ball because has really good balance and all these things. And he's 40 and he's out there playing with the guys right out of college. Just because he's never stopped and he's taking care of his body so well, because he's also really big on the nutrition.
And obviously, the guy's eating right, correct?
Oh yeah. He takes all of
and hydration.
Stuff.
Another key.
He's big on his hydration. He takes he uses Element. It's just a hydration pack. That's all it is. But it has the right potassium, magnesium.
But if you think about it, 2 ounces for every pound of body weight is what we shoot for. How many people actually get that every day? I know I have to work at it, right?
You have to actively, if you don't own a water bottle, it's significantly hard. I had left mine at my buddy's house, and I was like, I'm gonna go broke buying these liter bottles at the gas station. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I see why people carry a gallon jug around.
Yes,
It might look goofy, but I see why they do it.
well, people do it to make sure they consume it, and sometimes you might be drinking that half of that gallon jug at 7 o'clock at night, trying to get the fluids in, right?
That's why I try to go heavy in the morning. Is like there's the one thing of, I don't know if Alex had said to do this or Chris Bumps it. Somebody I was watching. He's like, right when you wake up, drink like 40 ounces right when you wake up.
That's what he was telling me. That, and again, put some minerals in that water too on the way in, right? Because I had that problem. I was getting up in the morning, drinking the coffee, going into the gym, which is basically a diuretic, and and it was keeping me sore. So even at 50 years, you can always learn a little something, or be reminded sometimes of that.
Yeah, I mean, I was getting nauseous during my workouts, and I work out hard, but I was like, I shouldn't be getting nauseous. And then I started doing that, drinking electrolytes before and hydrating, because I was drinking water, but I wasn't drinking electrolytes. Next thing you know, I was like, oh, I feel, I was feeling a lot better. So
difference it makes, that's the thing. And recovery times, at my age, like I said, I was having to cut back on the amount of treatments, the amount of times I was training a particular body part in a week. Had to cut back on that, because recovery is the key thing. That's what most people don't pay enough attention to. You're in the gym, and the working out is actually a catabolic, a breaking down of the system, right? Breaking down the tissue. Actually creating, a lot of times you're creating a scar tissue in there as you're tearing these fibers. And then the anabolic phase is actually when you're resting. So if we don't get enough, that's your growth phase. And if we don't get enough time put into the growth phase, then we just continue to break down, and here comes the injury. And I see that a lot, to be honest with you, but a lot of my female patients are that way. Those who get into this training, boy, if I tell them, for example, listen, we're going to need to take a week off of this, they'll quit on me sometimes. They're like, oh, no, that's not happening. You're going to have to give me something else to do, whether it's if it's coming off the treadmill, all right, get onto the stationary bike. Put less load on the knees and on the joints. But they have to have something to do, otherwise they'll go mad.
Our buddy's like that, and I had been telling him, because he does 6 days a week, and he goes super hard on everything he does. I was like, that's just too much work. And he was like, what do you mean? I feel fine. I'm like, your body's not recovering. It's just not possible. It's just not possible for you. I said, and here's the thing. If you're doing it, if you're working out for enjoyment, keep doing it the same. If you're working out to maximize muscle growth, because he talks about wanting to get bigger and whatnot, I was like, then you need to work out 4 days a week. You need to stop looking at it on a week. Look at it over 12 days. And like, don't work out. Like, if you're working out 2 days in a row, make it to where like your arm day is after a back day or something. Like, don't go hit legs and then hit back the next day, because he'll do that.
2 large body groups at the same time.
And it's like, your body can't recover that fast.
And you know what? Eventually, you're going to be up on blocks if you do.
He has great genetics and has had
stayed injured, and you're going to have to stay out, right? I don't want to go there. So I mean, the longevity that I've had over the 50 years, the key for me was that, not injuring myself to where I was up on blocks, right? And so therefore, listen to what the body tells you, and find another thing, like you're talking about, when people are training 6 or 7 times a day. Find a time to train. Over my years, there were times when I had to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and go to the gym to get it in, but you do it. You find the time to do it.
He did that this morning. He told me, because went to the beach today. So he's like, I'm lifting at 4.
When I you see people go in the gyms, and especially these people who go in and it's social day, a social hour, right?
Yeah,
and they spend an hour or 2 in the gym.
Yeah.
Or they come in and they train like we were talking about, just with the phones now. Oh my God. Oh, anyway.
I call that exercising and not training, because I look my buddy. So my buddy, the one I'm talking about, he started off in CrossFit, and everyone in CrossFit goes pretty hard, like typically, right?
Yeah, it's high intensity.
High intensity, and so he looks over at this guy on the leg press, and he goes, "What is that?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "What is he doing?" And I was like, "Oh, dude, you'll see I was like, you're about to see a lot of that in this gym. Like, you'll see some guys going super hard, but you'll see a lot of that in gyms like this, like just regular commercial gyms." I was like, they're exercising. They're here because they know it's good for them to exercise, but they're not training their body. They're not gonna like there are guys that come in here for years and they just never look any better.
Some of them wind up with this issue though. when it comes time to the gym, they think I have to have an hour and an hour and a half every day. And this is where you see a lot of people fall out because they say, oh, I don't have an hour today. That's why I say find you something you can do. And if you want to do it continuously, maximize that time. If it's 30 or 45 minutes, don't spend the time lollygagging in the gym because the subconscious says, hey, it takes me an hour and a half to work out every day. And that's why you find a lot of people who start off the new year with that intention, then they find that they're in that gym maybe once a week because they don't have the time. So find the time because, again, you know, like I say, where you place your value, where you invest your time tells it all, right? Not forget about what you say. I can't hear what you say because your actions are drowning out what you're telling me. That makes sense to you?
Oh, yeah.
You know, so I mean, it's show me your discipline. I mean, who doesn't have 30 minutes for themselves to take care of themselves a day, really? And the way I look, Cameron, the way I look at it is, you know, for people who say, I don't have time today, my answer to that is you don't have time not to. The longevity road down the line, right? If you want to stay healthy. So find that time. Make that commitment. Same thing with our dieting, right? Are you not worth 3-4 healthy meals a day? I mean, what value what do you place on yourself, right? And it reflects by what you do to keep yourself fit before you get into that situation like a lot of people do where they're trying to find that New Year's resolution to try to get it all back, what they lost for the last 10 years they've been out. That's real difficult. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times you see the injuries with that too, right?
Or they just quit because after 2 months they're like,
Yeah, burned out with that. Yeah.
So you don't have to start with 2-hour workouts, guys. Just go on a walk.
And walk's fine. We were talking about that. You know,
great.
when we were talking about in a podcast about increasing AMP kinase, which is that longevity gene.
Yeah.
You don't. That's actually done best with high intensity, short duration, or something that actually doesn't require a lot of sweating.
Steady state cardio they call it. Low intensity.
I mean, Chris is out there. He's doing that walk out there, and it's a little warm out there. But hey, you're getting it done, brother, right? Yes, and let's see. Last week it was 17 pounds. Was it? How much? 16. How much you lost now?
20.
See, and that's nice. That's nice. About 3 to 4 pounds a week. That's nice, steady loss there, brother. So, man, I'm proud for you on that one. And then cutting out the sugar doesn't hurt at all, right?
The red wine, cut out that.
Yeah, that's just kind of that's got its sweet side too. But yeah, they all sort of, again, it's another form of carbohydrate. So, you know, so we're talking about that low impact stuff. Save the joints, but just do it often. Walking's good. Yoga, dancing, right? Dancers have some of the best physiques. There's no weightlifting in that, but you know. And you know the other one. How about gymnastics?
Those guys are freaks.
They're fit. Okay?
They're freaks, man.
You know the legs might need a little work on some of them, but boy, those upper bodies and V's, right?
So
I mean, that's just body weight. That's
their
a lot
lats and arms are the craziest things I've ever seen.
One of the best back developers, in my opinion, is the pull up. For the width of the lat and the bicep involvement and the tie-in of that looks so good. Yep.
Pull-ups I haven't been able to do pull-ups for like a year now because of the shoulder impingement, but I had gotten to where I was doing weighted pull-ups and then I would set it with a regular pull-up, and I was having a lot of fun doing those. Or I'd like compounds that I'd do a deadlift and then go straight to pull-ups, just like trying to doing fun stuff.
Well,
really,
you know, the ability to be able to pull your own self up, you know.
You need to have that. That's important.
Yes, you do. It's kind of like just a general, where is your strength at? Now, Maha.
Yeah.
They're having these competitions now, right? With Kennedy and the rest of them and their pull-ups. What are they trying to do? 10 pull-ups? What is it? I don't know. 30?
But he can knock out a good bit.
Anyway.
He does some impressive. And he works out in jeans, which is pretty low-key psychotic. But, you know, Braxton
when
does
I was
that.
down in Florida, we had a lot of our northern buddies that they wore jeans a lot too. And we were and didn't see a lot of leg work from them either. And the question was, well, why aren't you guys training those legs? Well, we wear jeans a lot up in the Northeast, so you know.
So it don't matter.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny, actually. I had a buddy. I was working out. I started working out in 8th grade, and I'd been lifting for probably 9 months or 6 months. And he comes in there and he goes, hey, show me what to do. He said, but like all I actually care about is biceps and abs. And I was like,
Biceps and abs.
I was like,
the beach stuff.
yeah, I was like, dude, it's your
me.
triceps that make your arms
Yeah.
big. He's like, I don't care about all that. Biceps and abs. Biceps and abs, Cameron. And I was like, okay.
He's going to run around in one of those short-cut shirts, right? So his abs are hanging out in his
Yeah.
arms. Yeah. Cut the sleeves short on the arms. Yeah.
That's funny. Is I saw him years later.
That's still around. That was big back in my days as well.
I saw him years later, and I was going into the gym, and I was like, "You want to work out with me?" He's like, "No." He's like, "I'm good."
Yeah. That's a real workout.
I was like, "That's so funny."
Oh man, think about it. It's been great over the years, but that's the key. Find something you love to do, and don't make it too long. That's why a lot of my workouts, dude, I'm in and out. Sometimes I fit them in during in the middle of my workday at lunch. So 30 minutes, and I can train an entire body part. A pull move, back and arms in that 30 minutes. And throw some calves in there too, right?
Yeah.
Chest, triceps, 30 minutes in and out. I don't talk in between, and I don't do any aerobic work because I'm moving quickly in between. But I'm out of there in 30 minutes, so who doesn't have that? That excuse is gone, right? Just, But it's a routine, brother. That's what it is. And actually, it's a habit. So we're going to make habits. That's a good habit. So find you a good habit. It doesn't have to take long. The walk, like Chris is doing. Just get out and do it.
Pickleball. You can play with your friends. Go hang out with your friends.
It's become popular now.
I mean, I can't stand it, but people love it. So.
It's a new craze now. It's sort of like tennis on a much smaller court, I guess. I don't know, for you tennis people, I probably will throw rocks at me for that one. But I think you find a lot of tennis people who are starting to do that now as they're getting older.
Yeah,
still have it's the competition, right?
Yeah.
So I guess shuffleboard, for the old Italian man. I mean, just get out and do it, right? And have fun at it. All right, find something that you love to do, something that, and of course, kind of tweak it to where you stay injury free. That's the other thing, because longevity is key. And also too, you got to watch yourself, because you walk in the gym at 50 and you see some 20-year-old guy doing the upright row the wrong way, and he can get away with it. And I've literally had patients of mine who going back into the gym for for their New Year's resolution. And one patient in particular, and he was watching a 20-year-old kid do an upright row, and he said, "Well, I can do that." He grabs the bar and puts it out too far in front of him, and gets a tear in a supraspinatus tendon like that. So what does he do? Well, he's up on blocks now, so he's going to be out of the gym for a month. Do you think he started back for that year? No. So there's another year that he didn't get it done. So make sure your form is the key.
Yeah, I see every time I see someone doing upright rows, down, right? Or I see them doing front raises like this, I'm just like, I was like, your shoulders are so cooked.
And sometimes you find people that are fit and they're still managing to pull it off, but
sometimes people there's genetic abnormalities where people's shoulders will not get hurt no matter how much stupid stuff they do, but that's like a small percentage, single digits.
Well, another good point of that is priority principle too, right? So I mean, with that, if you've got really good shoulders, you might want to start with something else in that routine. For me, I had a weakness in my shoulders was my rear delt. So what I would do is I would train my shoulder day. I would start with what I call priority principle, hit the rear delts first while the intensity was high. So I made sure I get blood into that, and my front delt didn't take the blood from that particular muscle group if I was doing the rear delts last. So priority principle too. If you're trying to bring up something, let it be what you're focusing on first before you wear yourself down and get tired. So those are just little things that, over the years I've learned. The key, find something that you can do and do it often, people. Again, it's all about habit. Get you a good habit. The gym's a great place. So I love it because it's a short intensity. I mean, it's a high intensity, but a very short duration. And you can do that into your 90s, like we were talking about with the 70-year-old who's pulling dead.
It's another thing about like the running. Like if you're, like, say you have the ability to run or jog or sprint or whatever, like that's so quick.
Yeah,
the return on the investment is so good. I mean, it's like you can do sprints and it'll literally take you like 6 minutes, and right. You'll.
And I always said I like that look better than I do the long distance runner.
I've never liked the look of the long distance runner.
Well, so you see, you get that emancipated sometimes look, right?
Yeah.
So if you looked at that, I'm the same way. And just like you said, you're over in 5 or 6 minutes. I would sprint a 40-yard sprint. I'd walk back to the start line,
Do it
run
again.
another one,
Yeah.
and run 6 of those, I'm gassed, right? Now, I don't run it like I ran it back in college, but that's okay. You don't have to. Just put the effort in there and try not to pull a hamstring, like I've done a time or two. But again, there's no excuse because it's done in no time, right? You can do that on your lunch break. Yeah. So, or a day at the beach, like I did last time and pulled a high sprain on my Achilles. But anyway, that's because I forgot to warm up, or I was just not following my own advice. So there's one for us, right? A little bit on working out, people.
Do a part 2 on it.
Find something you
part
like
2.
to do. Again, like I said, do it often as you can because life is motion. Keep it moving. And until next time, Cameron and myself. And hey, one more thing real quick. Don't forget to
Like and subscribe.
Yes,
Share
like
it to a
subscribe.
friend.
Yes. And anytime we're talking about supplements and you want to know more about it, where is it?
Yeah, the link in the description of the podcast episode, any podcast episode, you can, anything from 1 to 30,
You got it on
whatever,
there?
it's on there.
Oh, you
Yeah,
got it
so
on there.
go on there, hit the link, it'll take you straight to his. You can't get the supplements that I take, that he takes. A lot of people take standard process. You can't get those
You have to find
unless you have a provider, because
provider of
they
standard
don't sell
process.
to general population. They don't sell. They go through practitioners like yourself.
Right. And if you have a problem finding it in your area, do not hesitate. Jump on my website, info@drjoeyjones.com, and I can hook you up directly through my portal with the company. And there, it's settled right there. Again, like I said, I consider this product to be, one of my favorite over my 30 plus years in practice. So there that is. And also, as always, remember to stay consciously aware of your awareness of conscious. Until next time, have yourself a great day.
So you ain't missing one.
There you go.